Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to sift through some fascinating ideas, really get to the heart of things.
That's the plan.
And you know that feeling, right? That little whisper. Sometimes it's more like a shout,
Yeah.
telling you something's, well, off.
That you need to be different somehow.
Exactly. Smarter, maybe kinder, more disciplined, or, less anxious, less angry.
Less human, almost.
Right. It's this constant internal pressure always pushing you to be more this or less that.
It's relentless for so many people.
Well, okay, let's unpack this today. We're diving deep into something pretty transformative.
A really radical idea, actually.
The idea that maybe, just maybe, you are already enough.
Right there. That core idea. It flies in the face of that common feeling, that belief that something is fundamentally wrong with us.
It really does.
So yeah, our mission today really is to explore how revolutionary that thought can be. Our sources, especially drawing from thinkers like Alan Watts, give us a totally different way to look at ourselves.
A different lens, you could say.
Exactly. Suggesting that your being right now, this moment, it's already inherently, well, perfect.
Perfect. That's a strong word.
It is. And we'll get into what that means. We want to peel back those layers, the conditioning, the expectations.
I see why we feel like we're not enough.
Precisely. And hopefully how to start shifting that view, moving away from feeling inadequate.
Towards feeling whole.
Exactly. Wholeness.
Yeah.
So yeah, get ready. These ideas, they might just spark some real aha moments about yourself, about everything.
Okay, let's jump in. This societal belief first, that we're somehow broken, it's everywhere.
It really is. The sources put it so clearly. We live in a world where almost everyone believes quite sincerely that something is wrong with them.
That they ought to be more this or less that.
Smarter, kinder, more disciplined, more enlightened, less anxious, less angry, less human. It's deeply ingrained.
Think about that. It paints a picture, doesn't it? Like we're stuck on a treadmill.
Constantly chasing some better version of ourselves.
That's always just around the bend.
Yeah.
Always just out of reach.
And we get this message everywhere. Advertising tells you need this product to finally be happy.
Self-help promises a new you if you just follow these 5 steps.
It just feeds this constant low-level dissatisfaction, this feeling that we're not okay yet.
We always need fixing.
Yeah, that we need to achieve more, be more before we can just relax into being.
And this is where the sources kind of drop a bombshell, right?
Yeah.
What they call a scandalous idea.
It is scandalous in a way because it cuts right through all that striving. The assertion is, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you at all.
Wow. Just flat out, nothing wrong.
Nothing. Your very being, this moment, this breath, this strange and sacred sense of I am, is already perfect.
Okay, we need to unpack perfect here.
Yeah.
Because my first thought goes to, like, moral perfection being flawless.
Right, and that's not it. It's crucial to get this. It's not about being tidy or polished or well-behaved, according to some rules.
So what kind of perfect are we talking about?
Think organic perfection. Think of a flame dancing. It's never the same shape twice, but it's perfectly expressing flameness, right?
Okay, I see. Or a tree bending in the wind.
Exactly. It doesn't fight the wind. It yields. It adapts. It's perfectly being a tree in that moment. Or even a galaxy spinning complex, maybe chaotic, but perfectly itself.
So it's a natural dynamic kind of perfection, not static?
Precisely. It's wild. It's true to its nature. And this idea directly tackles what the sources call the greatest lie of all.
Yes.
That we are somehow not enough, that we must become rather than simply be.
So that whole self-improvement treadmill
is presented as a project built on a false premise. The whole thing starts from a misunderstanding of who or what we actually are.
So the feeling of not being enough is based on a lie.
According to this perspective, yes, a fundamental misperception. So let me ask you, the listener, what really stands out when you hear that? That your so-called flaws aren't mistakes, but maybe just textures, unique patterns.
That really lands differently, doesn't it? If they're just textures, then trying to sand them all down.
Yeah, it seems kind of pointless or even counterproductive.
It does make you breathe a bit easier.
Yeah.
And it feels more grounded. Less about manufacturing some ideal self, more about embracing what's naturally there. Which ties right into the next big idea, our connection to nature. We're so often taught we're separate, aren't we? Like we're here and nature's out there.
They're observers looking in.
Yeah. But the sources say, no, you're not something apart from nature. You are nature.
Just as much as the stars, the ocean, the clouds.
And here's that mind-bending quote. You didn't come into this world.
You came out of it. like an apple tree, apples.
The universe people.
And you are one of those people.
Whoa. It flips everything. We're not visitors here. We grew here.
We're continuous with it all. Like a wave isn't separate from the ocean.
It is the ocean doing a wave.
Exactly. And we aren't static things, fixed identities. The sources say you are a verb disguised as a noun.
A verb disguised as a noun. I like that. Because we define ourselves with nouns, don't we? I am a teacher, I'm anxious, I'm successful.
Fixed labels. But a verb that implies action, flow, process.
Unfolding. Always changing.
Right. So maybe our true nature isn't a state we achieve, but a process that's constantly happening.
That definitely shifts the perspective on, well, everything.
It reframes our whole life, really. Sees it as this unfolding process, a natural event.
And not a problem we need to fix.
Exactly. The universe, from this viewpoint, wasn't trying to test you, fix you, or mold you into something better.
It was just expressing itself.
Yeah.
As me.
As you.
As you. An act of cosmic expression. Like the sources ask, have you ever seen a flower straining to bloom?
No, they just bloom.
Have you ever seen a tree hurrying to grow?
Doesn't happen. They just do their thing. They unfold.
And the point is, you too are unfolding. You too are nature playing itself out.
So all that effort we put into forcing ourselves to grow or change might actually be working against our natural rhythm. The sources say, you are not a problem to be solved. You are not a project to be completed.
Wow. What are we then?
You are an event of the cosmos as marvelous as the stars and just as inevitable.
As inevitable as the stars. That's quite something. So maybe think about that. How much energy do you, personally, spend trying to force things?
Yeah.
Trying to push yourself instead of maybe trusting that unfolding process a bit more?
It's a shift from constant doing and fixing to simply being and allowing.
It makes you wonder then, how much of our struggle is just us fighting that natural flow, resisting the way things are unfolding?
A lot of it, potentially.
It feels like it could be a more frictionless way to live. But okay, if we are always trying to force ourselves into being something else, where does that something else come from? Who are we trying to be?
Yes. This leads to another really fascinating, almost unsettling idea about identity.
Unsettling how?
Well, the sources suggest, quite bluntly, you didn't invent the image you have of yourself.
I didn't invent it. Then who did?
It was handed to you, constructed layer by layer, built out of glances, comments, expectations, like looking in a mirror made of what other people think.
Oh, wow. So from when we're kids, people tell us who we are.
Parents, teachers, society. You're good, bad, smart, lazy, pretty, awkward. We absorb it all.
And build ourselves out of it.
We become this patchwork personality stitched together from parents, teachers, religions, maybe advertising, social media now.
And the feeling that results.
Is eventually feeling tired, not physically, but existentially. Like you've been wearing clothes that don't fit for so long.
You forget what your own skin feels like. That hits deep. That existential tiredness.
It's the exhaustion of performing a role that isn't truly you.
So there's a difference between the role and the real self.
A crucial difference. The sources call the role the costume. And the costume is fine, it's useful even sometimes. We need roles to function in society. But it's not you. You are what's playing the role. You are the actor, not the mask.
The actor, not the mask. Okay, so authenticity, it isn't something you build.
No, that's the key insight. It's what's left when you stop pretending.
So it's subtraction, again, like clearing the muddy pond.
Exactly. The work isn't to create a better mask or even destroy the mask violently. It's to see through the performance, recognize it as a performance.
Knowing the role is just a tool, not your actual identity.
Right. And think about how much suffering comes from that confusion, from desperately trying to live up to a role that doesn't fit or being terrified someone will see behind the mask.
Yeah. How much does that resonate with you? Listening, feeling you have to put on a certain face for work or family or even friends, and that relief when you can just drop it.
That relief is a clue.
It really is. I know I feel drained after trying too hard to be a certain way. So, okay, if life isn't a test and it's not about perfecting a role, what's the point?
The sources give an answer that's almost shockingly simple.
Which is?
The meaning of life is just to be alive.
Just
that. It's so plain and so obvious and so simple.
And yet everybody rushes around in a great panic as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. Like being alive isn't enough.
Exactly. Which brings us to this beautiful concept often linked to Taoism. Effortless action. Wu Wei.
Effortless action. Sounds like being lazy, maybe.
Not at all. It's not apathy or doing nothing. It's the art of moving with the current rather than against it.
Okay. Like the river analogy.
Perfect analogies. You don't push the river. You float with it because the river is doing the flowing, not you.
So it's about alignment, finding the flow and going with it instead of fighting it.
Precisely. Trusting the larger process.
Which connects back to what you said about awakening. It's not about adding more stuff.
Right. It's described as subtraction of unlearning, getting rid of the noise, the false ideas.
Like letting the mud settle in the pond.
Exactly that. You don't do something to make the water clear. You stop doing the thing that muddies it. You stop stirring. Clarity arises naturally when the disturbance stops.
And silence plays a role here.
A huge role. Because in genuine silence, the ego cannot speak. The constant chatter of the constructed self, the I need this, I want that voice.
It fades.
Without noise, it begins to disappear. And that quiet space is where our real nature is hiding. Beneath the performance, beneath the striving.
So living this way means what? Living like the sky?
That's the image used, yeah. Live like the sky. The sky doesn't hold on to the clouds. It doesn't chase the sun or argue with the storm.
It just lets things pass through. Acceptance. Allowing.
Connecting it all. It's about trusting life's rhythm. It's unfolding.
Not our own frantic schedule or agenda. Not our clock's rhythm.
Exactly. So the question becomes, what would it actually feel like for you to stop pushing so hard? To just be lived by life for a while? To surrender to that unfolding?
How would that even look in, like, everyday life? Say you have a problem at work or a tough conversation coming up. You can't just ignore it. How do you float with the river then?
Great question. It's not about passivity. It's about responsiveness. So, with that work problem, instead of immediately forcing your usual solution, you might pause. Observe.
Okay.
See the whole situation without that instant resistance or judgment. Maybe instead of banging on the door that's clearly locked.
You look around for one that's slightly open. Or maybe even a window.
Exactly. Or you see a completely different path you hadn't noticed because you're so focused on forcing the door. It's like tending a plant. You don't yank on it to make it grow faster.
Right. You give it sun, water, and trust the process.
You trust its inherent nature to grow. In that difficult conversation, it means really listening, being present, rather than just loading up your counter-arguments.
Acting from intuition, maybe, rather than a pre-planned script.
Yes, acting from presence, responding to what is actually happening, not what you fear or demand. It's rooted in a deep trust that life, the universe, isn't fundamentally out to get you.
That's unfolding through you, even when it's difficult.
Yes. So you work with the energy of the situation, not against it. Find the path of least resistance, the effortless way.
That makes a lot more sense. It's not passive, it's attuned, present. Okay, so this brings us full circle back to that core message.
That radical, liberating truth.
The sources really hammer it home. There is nothing wrong with you at all.
Nothing.
You are not something broken that needs to be repaired. You're not a fixer-upper.
And you're not a spiritual project waiting to be completed. No final level to reach.
And this is where it gets really poetic, doesn't it? You are right now in this very moment.
An unfolding mystery, a ripple in eternity, a brief song in the great silence.
It's not about becoming someone worthy. It's about realizing the incredible mystery you already are.
And when you grasp that, even just a little, you find the sense of home.
Home?
Yeah. The sources say once you stop chasing after some future version of yourself, you'll realize you've been home all along.
Not home in terms of worldly success or other people's opinions.
No. Not in the world's idea of success, not in someone else's approval, but in your own quiet presence, in the simple, sacred fact that you exist.
Just the fact of existing is home.
It can be. So here's a final thought to ponder. If your so-called imperfections, your quirks, your struggles are really just textures, details, echoes of your particular music.
Then what song are you playing?
Exactly. What unique melody emerges from you simply by being you, not by trying to be someone else or striving for some external ideal, but just by allowing your own true note to sound.
What a beautiful question to leave us with. We really hope this deep dive has maybe shifted something, offered a new way to look at yourself, your life, maybe with a bit more wonder and a little less pressure.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on this exploration today. Keep looking inward, keep exploring with curiosity, and maybe, just maybe, you'll keep glimpsing the miracle you've honestly always been.